Out of the OSC's entire history, there's definitely been some not so great parts of it, but I think the worst time period the OSC's ever seen was July of 2024. The constant amount of drama and controversy made this out to be the worst month the OSC's ever seen. To be exact, if you count up all the controversies and drama that happened in this month, there were at least 6 OSC YouTubers to get exposed. Which leads me to the topic of today's video, the worst month the OSC's ever seen. To give a short summary, in today's video we'll be recapping the worst month the OSC has ever seen in its entire history. Now, that might come off as a little bit dramatic, but it's actually true. Compared to the other not-so-great times in the OSC, like 2022 and 2019, this was by far the worst. But before we begin this video, please understand that I'm not trying to bully or harass anyone mentioned in this video. This is only for educational and documentative purposes only. Now, without any further ado, let us take a moment to look back on the worst month the OSC's ever seen, July of 2024. Now, going back as far as I could, the earliest controversy to happen in July was the Soccer Stuff controversy, and this one was criticized for being the most unnecessary, rightfully so. Now, while I cannot find the original tweet exposing Soccer Stuff, I do have the document saved, and I'll go ahead and summarize that for you right now. The document starts off by reading this: Soccer is a manipulator, sex pest, and overall has been involved in several uncomfortable conversations with minors. Do not support her. Now, the first section of this document criticizes Soccer Stuff for getting into an inappropriate relationship with a 12-year-old at the time, even though these screenshots were taken 4 years ago when Soccer Stuff herself was a minor. Now, the rest of this Google document is exposing Soccer Stuff for being a quote-unquote manipulator. Now, I'm not going to read this entire thing, seeing how it is a 12-page long document and we'd be here for forever if I did that. I'll tell you the reception that it actually got once it was posted. Once the document was released, it was heavily criticized by the OSC, seeing how unnecessary it actually was. The controversy itself happened almost 5 years ago. The main criticism this document had was that Soccer Stuff herself was a minor at the time, and, well, it's unnecessary to wait 5 years to expose someone for something that they did as a kid. Luckily for everyone, this controversy was quickly resolved due to how unnecessary it actually was. Now, while this next controversy is more minuscule and less known about, it's definitely worth mentioning. Now, this controversy was between 2 OSC YouTubers, the Diamond Eggy and Springy Animates. The Diamond Eggy's first video on this situation was posted on July 18th of 2024.
Springy Animates. I know I've already made 2 serious videos about this guy, and he keeps on being an absolute fucking weirdo, and I'm not letting any of this slide. I am trying to protect people from this disgusting ass weirdo, and I will continue to do so. My friend Planty has provided me with a large amount of screenshots of him harassing even more people. Hooray! And this isn't even the server I'm talking about. This is another server. And what I mean by that is that he's not doing this in the Neo server because I'm gonna continue to time him out, and he's not doing this in TFOS because he fucking left and he should stay out. He's doing this in Planty's server to other people in his server. I'm gonna run it back like I did in the last video. I'm just gonna roll all the screenshots, and then I'll talk about.
In said video, the Diamond Eggy would criticize Springy Animates for being narcissistic and harassing people overall. And this was only the first of many exposed videos the Diamond Eggy would make on Springy Animates. The Diamond Eggy would post another video on the same day exposing Springy Animates for plagiarism. Now, somewhere in between the second and third video that the Diamond Eggy made on the Springy situation, Springy actually made a response/apology video. The video itself was received very poorly, so Springy decided to delete this video as I can't find it anywhere. In the Diamond Eggy's third video that he made on this situation, he would go on to show a lot of screenshots of Springy Animates' problematic behavior, along with more very inappropriate messages. He would go on to make a few more videos about the situation, even reacting to Springy Animates' apology. Now, at the time time of recording this video, Springy himself actually posted a response to the Diamond Eggy about 7 hours ago. I don't know if these two are on good terms with each other right now, but I'm guessing that they're not due to the recent controversy. This next controversy that happened last month is the most known and most talked about, the Miles Doodles art and Hypercrystal cancellation. These two started to experience their downfall on July 20th when an OSC YouTuber by the name of Odyssey10 posted a response video to the false allegations brought towards him by another YouTuber named Hypercrystal. You see, in Odyssey10's response video, he spent the time debunking Hypercrystal's claims of him being a groomer.
I'm going to be skipping the intro part of his document as this isn't exactly important to go over. One thing I will point out is Hyper with his weird behavior claim. That weird behavior was my mental health taking a toll. This wasn't news either, as I had made a community post back in September about my mental health, something I know Miles commented on before he deleted it. Up next is his obsessive tendencies section, where he claims that I am being creepy towards Miles and that I am justifying my actions by saying to him that I am clingy. Yet that's what it is, me being clingy. The screenshots being shown do not fit the definition of being obsessive. There's no signs of jealousy, constant checking, or anything of the sorts. I like to point out that some screenshots only have messages from me and none from Miles, saying that there are random gaps between my messages that don't make sense. This is because Miles deleted every single message he sent to me during this time period, which makes me appear in a worse light than it should be. It makes it appear that I am constantly bothering Miles as if he isn't responding, which is not true. Looking at it now, these messages are a bit weird,
while obviously providing evidence to back up his claims. Now, for the sake of this video, I'll be splitting this controversy up into two sections, the cancellation of Hypercrystal and that of Miles Doodles art as well. Now, these two were actually both heavily criticized at around the same time, so I'll just go over Miles's first, just because that was the first one that I actually had found out about. Now, when this video was posted onto YouTube by Odyssey10, I was out somewhere with my family, and I got a bunch of DMs from people asking me to make a video about the situation. They showed screenshots along with a tweet made by Brown Scarf, another BFDI YouTuber, exposing Miles for being a groomer. The screenshots showed Miles being confronted by other OSC YouTubers about his behavior towards Hypercrystal and how it could be chopped up as grooming. And although he made several attempts to defend himself, the allegations were true. The main problem people had with Miles was that he also helped trying to expose Odyssey10 while being a groomer himself. In fact, you can even go as far as to call this hypocrisy. A short amount of time later, other OSC YouTubers like OSC and Giant Snowball would come out with their own negative experiences about this creator. Miles would make two response videos, one to OSC and the other to Giant Snowball, which is now deleted. He would make attempts to defend himself in these videos and clear his name, but this didn't work. And eventually, Miles Doodles Art's channel was actually deleted. At first, I speculated that YouTube might have deleted his channel for his actions, but I doubt that they would do that to such a small creator, and they probably don't even know about the whole drama. My guess is that the overwhelming amount of hate and criticism that he got led him to delete his channel. Hypercrystal wasn't safe either, as he would get a lot of criticism for falsely accusing Odyssey10 of being a groomer. Editor note, by the way, I just realized that that was not the only thing that Hypercrystal actually did. He harassed other members of the OSC, like OSC and Giant Snowball. I don't know if Giant Snowball, but definitely a couple of other OSC YouTubers, as some of them told me. So, that is my mistake. I forgot to mention that.
I wasn't planning on making a video about this, but here we are. Hypercrystal was someone I looked up to in the OSC, and I had commonly stated publicly that he was my favorite OSC YouTuber. With the things that I have recently learned about him, that has changed. You see, when I first met him, it was nothing but nice conversation. He had recognized me in Nublis's Discord server, and it was one of the best things that could happen to me at the time. At first, he was praising me and giving me words of encouragement. However, what he really thought of me is what I'm making this video about. Hypercrystal had been talking shit about me behind my back with Miles. He had been calling me things like obsessed, which was the exact thing he was calling Odyssey10. He would go on to start ghosting me, despite never mistreating him in any way. Additionally, him and Miles were encouraging the spread of false information about me. Before me and Lean Greenbeans had made amends, Lean's put out a live stream claiming I had doxed him by posting pictures of his face.
Now, for a short comparison, before this whole controversy happened, Hypercrystal had 177,000 subscribers, and after it ended, Hypercrystal has about 175,000 subscribers. And although Hypercrystal did post an apology on his community tab, the apology itself got a mixed reaction from viewers, which I can actually understand not fully forgiving him for his actions, seeing how he did mess with someone's mental health and livelihood. Now, to this day, I am unaware of the real reason why he tried to cancel Odyssey 10, and we may never know, but there still are a couple of theories that I'd like to go over. Now, please let me make this clear. I did not come up with any of these theories. These were just submitted by people that I know, and I won't be naming them so they don't get any hate. The first theory was that Hypercrystal and Miles did this so Odyssey 10 wouldn't eventually surpass them in popularity, as he was growing as a creator. Some people believe that the duo was worried that Odyssey 10 would eventually surpass them in popularity and likability, as he was growing very substantially. Most of his videos were either getting close to or past 100,000 views each, and seeing how he only had 10,000 subscribers at the time, this was huge. And while I do believe that this theory is at least a little bit far-fetched, it definitely is a possibility. The only flaw in this theory is that Miles and Hypercrystal had over 20,000 subscribers on Odyssey 10. But if Odyssey 10 never would have gotten exposed, then he probably would have surpassed at least one of them. The second theory is that they did this out of pure hatred. They might have just disliked Odyssey 10 as a person, or didn't like the fact that he was getting so much positive attention and decided to cancel him. This theory is still slightly a possibility like the last one, but it is a little bit more out there. To summarize this theory, some people believe that these two actually did not like Odyssey 10 as a person, and did not like the fact that he was getting so much attention. So they decided to cancel him and try to ruin his career out of pure hatred. Now, if you were to ask someone about this theory back when this actually first popped off, they probably would have disagreed, but nowadays, more people are probably going to agree with you than not. Now, if I were to pick between these two theories, I think theory 1 is probably the most plausible. It makes more sense, and it has a little bit more reality to it. But either theory between these two could still be correct. I don't know, though. There's a slightly less popular OSC controversy that actually happened in the later half of July involving Evil Blue Barf Bag, kind of a troll OSC documentary YouTuber. A lot of people were kind of hating on this guy, but they kind of fell for the rage bait, along with me. But honestly, I wouldn't count this as a real controversy since this is just a troll YouTuber. Now, I'm going to consider making a part 2 of this video where I go over these controversies in more depth, and if you want to see that, then consider hitting that like button. But that's all for now. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.